to the graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to a new stranger vlog. I'm on my way to work. Just left the public library. I don't have internet at my house right now, for those of you who follow the podcast. And so whenever I've been doing anything recently online, it's because I've been at the public library. And so it sucks being broke. It really does. But I'm really getting jealous when I go online and I see my friends playing, you know, the newer video games out there like Fallout 4. Well, hell, I'm still playing Fallout 3 and Star Wars Battlefront. And I want to play it, one, because obviously I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm looking forward to The Force Awakens coming out next month. But I'm not a big fan of like these multiplayer online video games. At least not ones like Battlefront, where, you know, I want to play Battlefront right now because I want to play my friends. I want to play people I know. I really get frustrated when you end up like getting your ass handed to you from like some 12-year-old in Missouri who wants to talk shit, you know, because heavens forbid I'm too busy with a fucking job and adult responsibilities, and a 12-year-old who has all fucking day to play in his mom's basement whips your ass and then has the audacity to talk shit. But I made a Facebook post about this earlier. It was trending on Facebook, and I wanted to talk about this. Now, I am a Sony Playstation loyalist. I've had a Sony 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right now, my PlayStation 4, it was a gift from my dad, and quite frankly, the only game I have for it is Batman Arkham Knight. I actually have, you know, I actually went to GameStop and put $5 down, which is something I did that months ago. I put $5 down towards Fallout 4, which I'm looking forward to playing. But right now, like I said, I'm still playing Fallout 3. Shit, I still have a used copy of Fallout New Vegas that I haven't cracked open. But they announced today, and once again, it's not happening right now, but they are announcing that the PS4, they're going to put an emulator on it, which will make it compatible for PS2 games. And this fucking infuriates me. Why? Because Sony has a long history of putting out proprietary bullshit that this problem could have been solved since day one. Because when they came out with the PlayStation 2, they said, oh, okay, PlayStation 2, you can play your PlayStation 1 games. And people were it was great, because it was almost like having two systems. At that time, there were still some pretty good, decent PlayStation 1 games. So when you had your PlayStation 2, you know, you didn't have to, you know, and especially in those days where you had, you know, things were real limited when it came to, you know, inputs on your TV, you know, the red, white, and yellow inputs, you know, you could just keep your games. And then when the PlayStation 3 came out, the very, very first PlayStation 3s were backwards compatible. And I mean, that was like the first fucking batch. And then magically, they stopped making it that way. And I was so angry. And rightfully so, you know, you're going to tell me PlayStation 2, which is like still like, I want to say 150 million. It's like a ridiculous number. Basically, every fucking household on the fucking planet had a fucking PlayStation 2, or had more than one, because I know that there were people who had a PlayStation 2 in their living room, a PlayStation 2 in their bedroom. You know, by the time it hit its peak, I mean, it was inexpensive enough where, you know, you can buy games, and it had thousands of games. I mean, some of the best games in the history of video games were on the PlayStation 2. And then all of a sudden, PlayStation 3 comes out, and after a while, they say, nope, not backwards compatible, fuck you. And it was like, oh, and Sony, and it's funny, earlier I was talking about Star Wars. Sony reminds me of George Lucas. They put out a great product and then fuck it up when they try to get greedy. Like, George Lucas put out the original Star Wars trilogy was fucking fantastic. Then he puts out the special editions. And then he refuses to release. Well, back when he was still in charge, he would refuse to release the old editions on DVD or, heavens forbid, Blu-ray. And it's sort of the same thing here with Sony. Remember the mini disc? The mini disc that was supposed to replace like CDs, and it came out in like a little cartridge, or what was the other one? Memory Stick Pro, which is basically, just use a fucking, like the SanDisk. Like the whole fucking world uses SanDisk, and Sony goes, no, we're gonna have our own memory stick, which is the exact same thing. And then there's a little micro one called the M2. Sony has been known to get greedy and proprietary, and even with their own. Remember the PlayStation Vita? They had the little universal media discs, and that was supposed to replace DVDs. It was kind of like the same storage as a DVD, but on a smaller package. So it's frustrating. Sony, why? I don't understand. The PlayStation 2 came out in 2000. The PlayStation 4 came out in 2013. Leaps and fucking bounds more advanced than the PlayStation 2. And you're going to tell me you can't make it backwards compatible? It's like, the same thing. Windows does the same thing. We're like, oh, we have, the new 86-bit structure is better than the 32-bit structure. The 64-bit is better than assholes. You can fucking make it backwards compatible. You're not fucking reinventing the fucking wheel here. So I'm looking forward to PlayStation 4 making the emulator for PS2 games, because now you could actually go to a GameStop and actually buy the old games. Now, they haven't announced the second part. I wonder if they're going to only make those PlayStation 2 games available like online. Like, you can't go to the GameStop and buy old PlayStation 2 games. It's probably going to have to be done at full price, or reduced price because the games are so old. But it's probably going to have to be official downloads from the PlayStation Network, which I haven't gotten any official word for that, but I guarantee you that's the way it's going to go. So, once again, I'm a Sony loyalist. I've loved Sony since the PlayStation 1, and before that I was a Nintendo loyalist, right up until the PlayStation 1 came out. Never had an Xbox, never had a Sega, but I just want Sony, stop being fucking greedy and let us play our PlayStation 2 games on the PS4. Thanks for watching the Stranger Vlog. Don't be a stranger.